And we're back at it with the Vistani camp from the Curse of Strahd. So for a while now, I've been looking for a wagon for this particular setting, which is the Vistani camp. And it has 12 wagons around this tent on top of a hill. And these are the wagons that I found. They're pretty cool. It's about $9 for the files. You have to have a 3D printer or know someone who has a 3D printer. Or if you bought the files, you could probably give them to someone who does a service as a 3D print. But it comes with 3 wagons, and they have different tops. And you can even get the wheels to where they'll roll or where they're stationary. And they also come with these mounting options for like horses or bears or whatever other little animals you might want to print. And here you'll see them with horses, a bear, a couple of oxen. Yeah. And then you can either have the tops on the back or not. Now, this is a test run I did, and it is one of the standard wagons. There's 2 different body types, I think. And here's the gypsy wagon top. And you'll see there's some print issues that I had here on the sides. So I'll have to look into that. When the print comes out, it needs to be cleaned up from some of the struts that you have. They give you like support struts in the print. And then also, since you're going to be... it comes in pieces, and to put together the wheels along with the chassis, what you'll want to do is get some epoxy. So I'll rough it up a little bit first. You'll want to wear a mask for this, because you don't want to be breathing this stuff in. And the other thing I did is I got a really fine sandpaper. I didn't get it too coarse. And then after I got it sanded up pretty well, I went back through with a wet paper towel and just cleaned up all the dust that was laying around. I didn't want that kicking up while I was working. And this is pretty much what it looks like with the top part of the chassis along with the little cabin on the back there. Has a lantern on the front and also a wineskin sitting on the seat. So I got this JB weld stuff laying around. Usually you use it for car stuff, but it's an epoxy, 2 parts. Don't bother reading the instructions. I already know what it pretty much does. Here we are back at it. Had to go get something to eat real quick. And here we are. I got this little top here, and to puncture that top, the lid comes with this little puncture thing in the middle there that allows you to open it up. And you want to make it even. 1 part of each. So the white compound, the black compound, you're going to mix these up and get a really beautiful gray. It sort of activates the epoxy, I think. And I'm just using one of these coffee stirrers that have like a million of them to mix it up and then apply it. Now when I applied this, I actually ended up putting it on too much epoxy. And you'll see when I put it together that it squished out a little bit from the sides, and I had to go back and clean that up a little bit later. Then I'm just lining it up here, giving it a little bit of pressure, not much. You see way too much epoxy on there. And then you're going to want to let it set for a day or 2. I actually let it set for 2 days, I think, just to make sure it had a really good bond. Once it is set up, I went back and I primed it with my Vallejo Gray primer. This stuff goes on really easy. Well, you probably should wear gloves, something I'm still having trouble reminding myself to do. And then it's painting time. Once that's dried, I go back, got a little bit of brown. And since this is a test case, I wanted to use pretty simple colors. And really, I'm not a great painter anyway. I'm still learning. Get a better look at this. So basically what I did is I gave it a base coat pretty much all the way around of a brown. Do a little bit of something different with the roof, but for the main parts, mostly just a wood brown. And since I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with those little lattice windows, just painted around them initially. You see that little hole there was for when it was printing, had a little hole in the bottom there, so it would print hollow and then drain out the resin would drain out that hole as it was printing. I did this green, like this, I guess it's like a mossy green. I just mixed it with a little brown with a little green. And it came out looking okay. The hardest part of this was really getting in between each one of the shingles like that. That took a little bit. Little touch up here and there. The roof was pretty much done. Went back and then did the support beam in brown. I initially did this front part in brown, but later I decided to get a little bold with the collars. Well, bold for me. I'm pretty bland when I'm painting these kinds of things. Yeah. I move on to the chassis. And I do the same thing. I pretty much paint the whole thing brown as a base coat. Again, this is a test run, and I wasn't really too concerned with the collars or with really doing a great job. And I've got to do 12 of these, so I wanted to make sure it was something that was going to work for me. Now, I tried several others, and I think I have a video where I did these cutout paper wagons. I think the Neverwinter Nights group put those out. And those are free download, and you can check that video out if you want something that's a little quicker and a little easier to put together. I could have probably used a bigger brush here and gotten through this much quicker. But honestly, I was enjoying the Zen-like painting. Just a nice way to unwind after a long day. And you can see, still brown. Now here I went with a leather brown. Though for Gypsy Wagon, you could have probably gone with just about any bright color. You could have gone with like a purple or a red, pink even, just about anything there. I used this lead collar just to basically go over the metal parts. There's rivets in there too, on some parts of that. I didn't go and hit those with like top off the rivets. You could do that. I might go back and do it later. You got these metal bands that go around the back of the wagon and wrap around to the inside. Then I got a different color brown to go over these little posts that run along the back side, held in place with those, those little lead strips there. And then I used this same brown for the caps on the wheels. Give it a little bit of a difference from the base coat there. Now, when I initially painted the chimney, I painted it a copper color, but later I went back over it with a more like a metallic lead color, just touching up the edges here of the wood as it meets the shingles on the top. And really the painting is just a nice, fun, zen-like process. Like I said before. Here we go. It's pretty much done. There's where I'm going back over the chimney. And then here's where I decided to get a little bold with colors. I did a red base coat on this and the lattice work. You know, that top little eave, and then the lattice work here. And back on the door on the back side. And then I did a little bit of gold accents in there just to liven the thing up a little bit. And then for the lattice work, I went back in and just painted the little crosshatch interiors black, so it made it look like there was a looking into the back there. Then you got your wineskin here up front. I painted it a little bit of a darker brown to make it stand out a little bit from the seat cover. And the rope's just a parchment collar. You got a little lamp there in the front, and we're just about done. And here's the final cut of it. You can see there where I had some print artifacts. You could really go back and clean that up with some putty. Overall, I like the look of it. It's pretty sturdy, and I think it'll look really good on the table. I just need to do another 11 of these. So I think it's a good value, a good buy. I'll leave links in the comments below, the show notes below, and so you guys can check it out yourself if you decide you want to go this route for your Vistani wagons. And that concludes another episode of Tabletop That. Feel free to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, feel free to hit that thumbs down button. Leave comments below and hit that subscribe button if you're so inclined. And until next time, have fun and keep crafting.